Hello there. Today in this video I will talk about the application of the decision making steps in your project slash assignment. Now I understand that some of you might not grasp the idea of the decision making as a management tool. So before we begin any further, let us go back. Let us go through again the steps of decision making. In the first instance, the first step would be that there should be a need for a decision to be taken. In that regard, you need to be able, you means the leadership, of course. So you need to be able to define the problem and to describe to the best of your ability the problem or problems on hand. Okay, you need to be able to get a good grasp of what is going wrong, what is happening. Okay, or maybe even why there is a problem or problems. And the second step would be for you to come up with a series of solution, more than one solution to deal with the problem. Typically, managerial problems or managerial issues have or should have more than one solution. You cannot have just one solution. There is no such thing as one correct or one right way. There are many ways to do things correctly, to do a certain thing in a correct manner. Okay, so you need to develop uh, different alternatives to solve the problem. Of course, if you do not or are unable to get a good grasp of what is the problem, what are the problems, so by trying to come up with more than one solution, you also can like redefine the problem to make the description of the problem sharper. Okay, so different alternatives to solve the problem, that is a must. You cannot just have one alternative or one solution. So that process of creating or building solution might take quite a while. Okay, because quite likely there is a need to get everybody to be involved, or as many people to be involved in the creation of the alternatives to solve the problem or issues. The next step, subsequent step, would be for each of the solution you have to analyze. The analysis of the solution would be based on the two imperatives that I have been describing early in the semester. So each of the potential solution, A, must be able to help the organization to attain and sustain competitive advantage, to be able to enable the organization to produce better products and services compared to what their competitors can. So that's the first criteria. Second criteria would be that the solution must not harm any single one of the stakeholder of the organization, particularly the workers. Okay, so those are the basis of analysis that you have to undertake. So that's the analysis part. Then the next part, the next step would be that you choose either the best solution or maybe a series of solutions that are complementary to each other. Okay, so your kind of choice would depend on the or should depend should be guided by the available resources that the organization is now having or are able to control. So organizations that are in a difficult situation with limited resources cannot have multiple solutions to their problems, especially if the solutions overlap with each other. And of course, you cannot certainly, without strong justification, you cannot just present a list of solution just like that. You need to uh, refer to the available resources. Now, let's assume that you just pick one solution, okay, just to make things simple. Of course, you can pick more than one solution, but that would complicate matters, as I've been telling you, because of the resources constraint. Okay, so if you pick one solution, for that one solution, you need to come up with an implementation plan, because a solution that solution would have to be operationalized to enable the solution to be realized by the organization. So there must be an implementation plan. The implementation plan, you should be able to get it, or the concept of an implementation plan has been discussed in the planning function of organization. Okay, so there must be an implementation plan. You cannot just leave the solution or the recommendation like that. That would be just like hanging, okay, without any ability to be or potential to be realized. There must be an implementation plan, and in that implementation plan, there has to be kind of we need to institute a way of assessing the progress of the implementation plan, because you must remember that the environment is never stable. Okay, the environment changes, as what we have been discussing in class. Environment is volatile, or nowadays even much more volatile than before. So you need to keep tabs of the progress of the implementation of the recommendation, because there might be situations whereby you have a plan, okay, you have a solution to the problem, you have an implementation plan, but for whatever reason the environments, especially the components of the environments that are beyond your control, changes for the worse. Then you have to sit down again and to look at the impact of those changes in the environment to your ability to realize or solve the problems that you have decided some time ago, whether or not that solution is still viable or not, or whether you have to make some tweaks to the implementation plan, or even postpone the implementation, or worst case scenario, abandon or to give up, and then to go to the beginning cycle of the decision making steps to come up with a different set of alternatives, and to go through the process again, all because the environment has changed. So that is the basic idea of the decision making steps. So let us look how these steps can be used in your project slash assignment. So there are several ways to look at it. The way I see it is that the decision making steps even go to the point where you start as an individual before joining or creating the group. Okay, you as the individual student, before you join a group, you need to create a group. But what are or what are the basis of that group? Why do you create that group? Why do you decide to team up? Okay, person A, person B, person C, D, and E to join together to create a group. What's the story behind it? And are there alternatives? Okay, why should A and B join together with C, D, and E? I mean, A could be like making another group with HIJK, for instance. Do you understand? So the decision to join a group, create a group, starts with the individual. Then when the group the group has been formed, in the first instance, what are the possible F&B outlets that you are considering? This is before, okay, before you have that, before you finalize that particular F&B outlet. Certainly, you cannot just be like maybe suddenly you, or maybe one of the group members just see an outlet out there in Kuching, then tell the other group, okay, this is where we are going, okay, this is the outlet which we will do a project on. That is not good. Certainly there must be a series of different outlets which you have to decide, okay, which one you would ultimately choose to be the basis of your project. Okay, so you need to tell, to write, to tell a story behind that. Okay, so those are the in the first instance, once you join a group, then then you need to come up with solutions to the problems that the F&B outlet is facing. Okay, certainly there are more than one solution. I mean, for a given problem, certainly there are more than one solution. In fact, before coming to the solution, you might see or kind of discover that there are more than one problems that the F&B outlet has to deal with. So what will be the problems that need to be solved? Or maybe if the F&B outlet is constrained in terms of resources, you need to pick only one problem that needs to be solved urgently. All right, so you have to decide. Now this is even before the solution, before you generate the solution. So once you have decided with regards to the problem or set of problems that you believe that the F&B outlet is capable of solving due to its current available resources, then you have to come up with the solution. Certainly alternatives, okay, you have to develop solutions. They must not be just one solution to the problem. If you do it like that, then you are not doing it in the manner that you have to do. Okay, you're not thinking hard enough. Okay, so for one particular problem or one particular set of problem, there must be a series of potential solutions. Then you have to analyze each of the potential solutions with regard to their ability to help the F&B outlet to attain and sustain competitive advantage, and at the same time, for each of the solution, in terms of the impact to the stakeholders, i.e., no one particular stakeholder must be harmed in any way or have their welfare to be reduced in any way. Okay, so then of course you need to somehow discuss, for example, if you, for a certain problem, okay, that one certain problem, you may come up with like five alternatives, and maybe all of them can contribute to the attainment of the most important imperative of attaining sustaining competitive advantage, and all of them do not harm their stakeholders. So you need to like uh, lay out, okay, in terms of which one would give the best impact in terms of attaining sustaining competitive advantage to the best impact with regards to the stakeholders, right? Then, okay, you uh, go to the next part of implementation plan. Now, even the implementation plan, okay, there are more than one way of coming up with the implementation plan. So, ideally, in the assignment, there has to be some sort of discussion, okay, with regards to potential plans of implementation, and you pick the best implementation plan that can uh, optimize, maximize effectiveness and efficiency. Okay, so I suppose those are some of the ways, the, what do you call it, or if you want to say some of the major ways in which the decision making steps can be implemented or can be used in your assignment slash project for this class. If you have any questions, please ask. Please ask me in class, or drop a question or two in the comment section of this video. So we'll see each other again in a different video. All the best and good luck.